Water. The earth is covered in it. Some of it's salty, while some of it's fresh. Now, I like to consider myself a pretty big fan of water. Hmm, tastes like crumbling 80-year-old city infrastructure. And lead. Mostly lead, though. But you want to know the most interesting thing about water? Is, believe it or not, things can live in it. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, who cares? What's the point? Why are we talking about water and not, you know, weep shit? Well, I'm getting there. Because, believe it or not, water plays into today's review. Triton of the Sea by Osamu Tezuka was originally called Blue Triton and was actually a newspaper comic that was serialized one page at a time from September 1969 to December 1971 in Sankei Shimbun newspaper. Now, I read Triton of the Sea through the 2013 DMP editions that combines the 4 volumes into 2 paperback books. Now, the artist Osamu Tezuka is a legendary creator, and I don't have nearly enough time to be able to give a full history of his life in this video today. That deserves its own. But what I will say is this: Triton of the Sea came out during a time of great stress for Tezuka that coincides with the beginning of his so-called dark period, where he began creating more mature and disturbing manga. Now, I'm a big fan of this particular time in Tezuka's career, so this should be an exciting read for me, right? The plot of the manga goes like this. Triton of the Sea is about a young man named Triton, who is one of the final surviving members of a race of sea people known as the Triton Clan. For thousands of years, the Triton Clan has been at war with the sea god Poseidon and his many minions. While Triton is still a baby, however, he was discovered by a human, Kazuya Yasaki, who adopts him into the family. But Poseidon attacks the village, resulting in the death of Kazuya's father. His grandmother warns the family that the village will continue to be attacked if Triton is not returned to the sea. Not wanting to abandon the baby, Kazuya, his mother, and Triton all move to Tokyo in order to escape the wrath of the sea. The Yazaki family struggles to survive in Tokyo. At the same time, it is revealed that Triton ages through intense growth spurts that happen every once in a while. As Triton grows up, he shows an intense interest in water and ends up catching the attention of a swim instructor named Zinzin Tangi, who ends up teaching him the art of combat in water. While Triton learns from Zinzin, Kazuya ends up killing a man and runs away from home, becoming a ship hand in order to escape the authorities. As Triton grows up, he continues his training with Zinzin, and he ends up meeting a golden dolphin named Ruka, who tells him that he is going to be pursued by Poseidon's children due to the past crimes of his family. Once he grows old, he leaves his mother and returns to the sea in order to get his revenge on Poseidon by killing him. Allied with the dolphins and mentored by Ruka, will Triton be able to get his revenge for the death of his entire family? Will he be able to revive the Triton clan with the help of the mermaid Pippi? To find out how this manga ends, you're just going to have to pick it up and read it for yourself. Now, I want to mention that this is an extremely generalized version of the plot, because Triton of the Sea is honestly a very long and convoluted manga, meaning that I end up leaving quite a bit out. Starting with the art, I honestly don't have too much to say about it. Compared to the other works that Tezuka was putting out at the time, the art is very unambitious. Take, for example, these pages from 1970's Ode to Kirihito. Look how he plays around with panel layouts and art styles. We don't see really any of this in Triton of the Sea. Now, unambitious art by itself is not a bad thing. A manga can feature even bad art but can be carried because of its story or its deeper meanings. But this title doesn't really deliver on either of those points. The art does have one strong aspect, however, and that is the designs of the villains. The designs of Poseidon's children are very creative, being mashups of various sea creatures that all have very creative powers. When it comes to the story, Triton of the Sea feels like it's just going through the motions. It's a generic good versus evil story. The manga has some minor pacing issues. Many characters in the manga just completely disappear for huge swaths of time. Some of the fights were incredibly short, and Triton ends up defeating a huge number of Poseidon's children in one fell swoop that just did not feel satisfying. In general, the manga felt like it went on for too long and was a bit of a struggle to read. Well, if the story's generic, then surely the characters are going to be able to support this manga. Well, Triton of the Sea is a terrible character. I hated him. He was extremely close minded, too stubborn, violent, and was overall just a bit of an asshole. Now, I understand the criticism that the main protagonist of a story doesn't have to be a likable or good individual. Take, for instance, the character of Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood. He is the main protagonist of the film, and yet he is a horrible individual. He lies, cheats, and is a huge asshole to others he doesn't like. But this is done on purpose because of the type of movie that There Will Be Blood is. The movie is supposed to be a commentary on big industry, and so Plainview is supposed to be a hated individual by the audience. Triton is different, however, in that Triton of the Sea is supposed to be a generic good versus evil children's comic, where we are supposed to like and want Triton to succeed. And so because of that, the audience has to like Triton as a character first, which unfortunately Tezuka did not pull off. Pippi was also very one-dimensional who was barely in the manga. And it's not like Tezuka can't pull off well-written, complex female characters. I mean, look at titles like The Book of Human Insects and Barbara. Oh, I also want to say that Triton's mentor and guide in the ocean, Ruka the dolphin, is just a straight-up instigator and warmongerer. Now, not all the characters are terrible, just the most important ones. Talon was probably my favorite character in the entire series. He was an assassin sent by Poseidon to take out Triton. Talon had a great character arc. He was complicated, a genuine threat to Triton, and he even ended up helping Triton out at multiple points. Heptabada Sama was similar in that she was supposed to be the enemy of Triton, but after Triton saves her, she feels conflicted and became a more interesting character. Her arc was also very satisfactory. As for the rest of Triton's enemies, they feel more like minor inconveniences that are too quickly and easily dealt with. Though Grove's fight was probably the best. Grove proved to be a very good foe who was a creative enemy who ended up being defeated in a clever way. Poseidon himself proved to be a very competent main villain. He's a super overpowered villain that has some interesting qualities, such as the fact that he's immortal. Him being immortal adds an interesting angle to the manga. Triton now has to find a way to defeat him without just killing him, which was a nice change of pace compared to the rest of the manga. I also like how he knows he is super overpowered, resulting in him in just not caring during any of his fights. In conclusion, Triton of the Sea is a very middle of the road manga that overstayed its welcome. Its negatives far outweigh its positives, which is truly unfortunate coming from the god of manga. The art is good but not very ambitious, and the story is a bit of a muddled mess. It does have some interesting ideas and concepts, but it's not enough to really save it. That's why I'm going to be giving Osamu Tezuka's Trident of the Sea a 6 out of 10. If you want to start reading Tezuka, then do not start here. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you agreed with what I had to say about Trident of the Sea by Osamu Tezuka. It really is nothing too special. The only people that I think are really going to want to read it are the mega Tezuka fans. Outside of that, it's not really worth your time. I hope to see you around again soon. Goodbye.